what's panel data, and why would we care about panel data here? What's that? Yes, it's longitudinal. And let's think about time and time and measurement in two ways. One is, like the DHS and mix, also you'll find sometimes panel components. I think Uganda may have a panel component. I think Tanzania has a panel component, which means you're measuring the same households over time. Again, a remarkable opportunity to look at resilience, right? So the panel study, so on one hand you have repeated cross-sectional surveys that tell you how groups are changing over time, and you have panel studies which are telling you how individual households are changing over time, and having that opportunity to track them. Well, the Living Standards Measurement Survey program is one which the FAO methodology is particularly linking itself to because of the fact that there are so many more economic measures in there. So this is another survey program that in some of your countries there's pretty good data, okay? And in some there isn't. Now, there's also the World Food Program, and that's actually the survey instrument that Tulane piggybacked on, which was the Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Assessment Instrument, which is heavily geared towards food security, but we were able to convince them to add psychosocial measures and a few more social capital measures. So we were able to piggyback onto that initiative. In many countries, and here's where this is particularly important, these comprehensive food security and vulnerability studies are typically done, or more frequently done, in areas that don't have good data from DHS and LSMS and so forth. They're typically done in either chronically stressed populations that aren't measured as well, or in contexts where there's acute food security stress, shock, right? So these various data sets exist, and I would say that from my understanding, you all can fill in this table. I started it, but you can fill this in for your labs, and I think it's a good exercise. You know, which of these programs do you have, and then what dates do you have them for, right? So some of these surveys, like in the case of Rwanda, Uganda, and some that aren't here, like Tanzania, there's been a tremendous investment in these programs, so there's tons of data. There's many study.
Oh, Tanzania is here. But also, Nancy, can you get the organizers a list of the acronyms that's spelled out with data websites?
Sure. Yeah, I was actually thinking we would definitely do that. Yeah. So, and then it's very easy because you can easily find on the internet where these survey efforts are. I'm going to go at the very end off onto the LSMS website so you can see a little bit how that's organized and how to access information about that. And being from countries, you should have relatively easy access to those data sets unless they're extremely recent, like in 2012 or 13, it may be more difficult. But as one of the other benefits to being RAN is that you'll get faster access than the broader community would to those survey data sets. And this, again, isn't complete, but the idea here is that these different surveys have emphases on different aspects. Like living standards measurement is more economically oriented. DHS is more health-oriented, health nutrition-oriented, fertility, etc. And then the mix is more child and maternal child-oriented. So these different surveys have different emphases, and therefore it may well be that you can get some sense of, or that you might be able in your work to identify where those survey programs have done a relatively better job of, for example, measuring social capital in your areas. Now, yeah.
When we say feedback.
Feedback, sorry. Yeah, another acronym. Unfortunately, I'm too familiar with this data. Feedback is a new initiative. And I'll tell you also, I think Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Ethiopia are all feedback countries, right? Isn't that right?